Welcome everyone to Web3SecurityClan's podcast. We are a group of Web3 security researchers dedicated to learn together. In this podcast, our host Nadir will interview Timo. We will talk about how to pick the correct contest, the process and psychology when auditing a new code base. Timo will also give us tips to get results and give away his Pomodoro secrets. Enjoy!
Okay, everyone. So welcome back to our guest talk series here at Web3SecurityClan. My name is Nadir. So we are meeting today with OX Timo, who's a smart contract auditor and security researcher affiliated with Spearbit and also with Cantina. He is known for having over 200 high and medium severity issue findings, which is a pretty impressive number, I have to say. And also known to be the king of Pomodoros within the Web3 security space. So we're very happy to welcome Timo to our group today and to our little podcast that's starting up. He is going to talk to us about the psychology of contests. So Timo, warm welcome to our group. How are you doing? And go ahead and get started with your comments.
Thank you very much for introduction. Hello guys, I'm Timo. I've been actually participating in security contests first 1.5 years in career. And first months I was totally obsessed with competitions. Even called it hobby and not work because I was willing to do it even free of charge. Yeah, that's how it felt back then. In the beginning I was part of pretty same community as yours. In my case, community helped a lot in the beginning. I was and to post all those findings I had and your respect from those internet friends. And it's a big luck to hit big dollars in the beginning, of course. So respect from community can substitute that feeling of winning. So I just liked to find bugs and share it with them. And there are guys from a community who made it. For example, it's Bread. He now works for Blackthorn and Pashov and Zefrin. Strauss is Immunify Triager right now. And of course, Alex Filipov has great wins and bounties. And a couple others who are not public at all. Alright, in this talk, I want to share ideas and strategy I use during reviewing codebase and especially in security contests. Half of the success is picking right contest. As simple as that. Ideal contest must have low competition and high price pot. It's pretty obvious, right? Let's start from price pot. I suggest the following way. You assess your skill, how good are you, and let's say you aim to win certain percent of price pot. Let's say you aim to win 15%. And this way you think, is this amount big enough for me? If those 15% are big money for you, so that's correct. That's correct price pot. So for example, it's say 100 and 15% is 15,000 and you feel that's really big money for you, so price pot is right. I mean, if it's for example 15,000 at all, it's very hard to succeed at least 15%. And at the same time, it's not really good money in certain regions. Okay, and second, low competition is much more complex metric. In my case, of course, intuition helps because I already have a background. First of all, and I mention it in Art of Auditing, that for learning you should pick at least 3,000 and slog solidity. In this talk and at all, I talk only about solidity because complexity, logic per lines is different in different languages. For example, in Move code bases, it's around 3 times higher. I mean, for example, Avia has 5,000 and slog in Solidity, but equal code base, same logic takes around 15,000 on Move, for example. For Yearning, you should pick at least 3,000 and slog code base. And better to take even 5K plus. It's very important rule. It's not a mistake to pick any protocol beyond 5K lines. So if you see, just pick, don't think you'll benefit from it anyway. But there are other factors. Ideally, you aim to pick such contest so that 0 top researchers review it. In this case, even average auditor will earn big. Of course, it goes to intuition, it goes how you feel this security research market, how you feel what contests will attract how much attention. And ideally, you should pick the most uncomfortable to do contest right now, right when it starts. I have great examples in the past, and actually there are a lot of them where 0 top researchers participated, or 1 or 2, so they leave a lot of not so hard money to earn for different researchers, for average researchers, let's say. For example, I remember Vice landing on Codarina. It was like 40,000 win for, at that time, I say average auditor. But there was no competition, so he looted all this money. Then, do you know Radiant Labs?
Yeah, definitely.
If you review their projects, they had no competition at all in all of their wins. That's amazing. I mean, Kakarot, Reserve Core, that's like 8,000 wins. That's a lot. I remember ZK Sync, 1 million contests almost 2 years ago. Xuvini was basically the only one who reviewed ZK circuits on Rust at that time. So he won $500,000. And in my past, I have 2 such contests. Of course, that's Beanstalk Final. Basically, I was the only one who reviewed all those 12,000 scope. There were code blocks where I was the only reviewer because some very obvious to notice bugs at all. And there were 3 researchers, top researchers, who reviewed codebase. All others did very. I think they did not dedicate enough time to review it. These projects have one thing in common. There are contests at exactly same time running, and those other contests attract all the attention. These are different factors. Maybe they have more comfortable scope to pick. Maybe they have more comfortable language or technology. I mean, for example, it's very hard to review Uniswap v3 fork because of all that mass. And in general, automated market makers. It can be uncomfortable timing because you see that all those contests who attract attention, they started, let's say, 1 week or 2 week. So people who were free at that time, they picked other contests. And now you see that great to pick contests right now. And at these times, I just feel there is no enough competition because they participate in other projects, which are also great. And additionally, of course, contest with low competition, of course, its Discord chat is super quiet. Super quiet. I'm going to move on. Do you have questions regarding this chapter, maybe?
Thanks, Timo. I think it's a really interesting take towards basically focusing a lot on which ones you choose, you know. I guess just a question that I have to start is, do these tips apply to anyone regardless of skill level, or is this more suited to someone who is pretty confident in finding bugs already and has some decent results, let's say?
I would not say decent results is a must. Despite contest peak, you can gain decent results. But I believe, firstly, you should train on lower scope just to gain this skill to spot bugs.
Definitely. The other question I had in mind is, it seems like a lot of the good contests, and by good I mean according to your selection criteria, which makes a lot of sense. They seem to be, like you said, more complex or in a different language or a different ecosystem that's, let's say, more exotic or less known by juniors. So, how do you balance, or how would you suggest other people balance the requirement to learn new things that may, let's say, slow them down on better contests versus kind of building up that raw skill of finding bugs, having an attacker mindset, etc.
At least in my situation, I divide contests. Say in this contest, I learn this topic and this and this and this. I will benefit from it in future, from this knowledge. And in this code base, I dive fully deep. Yes, of course, I can learn some things there, but I aim to learn there. And so I go fully deep. It takes a lot of efforts, of course, a lot of efforts, but it's like making a concentrated bet. I sacrifice a lot, but there is great potential.
Okay, interesting. Are there any other questions we have from the audience here? Chris, Strap, Securious? I think not, so feel free to keep going with your talk, Timo.
After contest peak, there is not much to think about. Do your fucking best and put a lot of your efforts. Usually protocol review splits into two phases. First is studying how protocol works, and second is generating ideas. Okay, let's start with first, of course. Studying how protocol works. It's when you learn every function, every contract, every component, every interaction. It's time consuming, it's exhaustive, and it's hard. It's the most brutal part of review when you again and again hit this wall of not understanding. It's very hard in the moment, but basically every auditor who reviews exactly same code base, he has exactly same difficulties. So that's really the most tough person stays, and weak person leaves. Let's say this. In this phase, the more hours you put, the clearer picture becomes. That's a rule. If you dedicate more hours, finally you can jump over this wall of not understanding. For example, personally, I find that 6 hours of 1 hour Pomodoros a day is a limit. I work, for example, 4 days and rest one, and then repeat. But 6 hours of work a day is a limit, so I would call 4 or 5 hours a day, okay. But that's only my personal. I don't know how. I know that other people can work 8 hours, 10. I just don't see it as any, how to say it. I see that I don't benefit from it. And of course, it's very, very important to have good sleep during these days and during all contests as a whole. It will surely save you days of research. It helps a lot. And it's also important to minimize stress outside work during this period, during this contest. It also helps, really. And I always remember that this phase will end. Eventually, it will end. Eventually, you will understand how this works. Just put hours into learning. That's it. Basically, in this phase, you upload the code into your head. You transfer it from screen into your mind. So now let's move to the second phase. The second phase is much easier. It's where you aim to generate as much and as different ideas as possible. That's basically how you do spot bugs. You just look at screen and review your ideas of how it can go wrong. So to do it, you must have understanding of how every function and protocol works. And you must remember it. That's what we focus on phase one. Basically, in this second phase, I work at most 4 hours a day. And first 2 hours, I just scroll code and review ideas. And then review code, research my ideas. And sometimes I write down my ideas to not forget them immediately. At this stage, you know every detail on protocol, you remember it, and at this stage you can walk and spot issues. You can shower and spot issues. At this stage you find most unique bugs, and one such bug makes a difference between top 3 placement and top 10 placement. Really, one unique medium or even high is enough to completely change the leaderboard. This stage makes a difference between top leader and an average one. There you aim to look at the same thing from different angles. That's a skill in itself, which is not obvious to learn. Most simple trick I use is to take breaks. I mean take breaks during the day and take complete breaks like 2-3 days. That's main reason I use Pomodoros, for example. In bug bounty, you can even leave the project for some time, let's say a week, to slightly forget it and then learn again with different perspective. So maybe some new bugs will pop up. Next tip is I emphasize on writing report with fresh mind, fresh head. To me, it's early in the morning, basically first 3 hours after I wake up. Just take breakfast and go work. Sometimes new leads are popping up during report writing. So it's better to help yourself to spot it by having fresh mind. Basically, that's all material I have for today. Thank you for listening. Hope you have questions, guys. Not even directly relevant to this topic, but maybe general ones, so that we can start a discussion.
Oh, we're gonna have questions, Timo. Don't worry about that. We have a lot of questions for sure. Thank you so much for sharing those tips. It's I think it's the first time actually that I hear an auditor emphasize so much the selection, which makes a lot of sense, because there's so much competition out there these days that it's really an important edge just getting in the right contest, and kind of giving yourself a better chance, basically. But Timo, I'm curious to know, because although now you're, an auditing wizard, presumably at some point you were, learning and kind of starting out and stuff. On the point of psychology, how did you deal with, let's say, some difficult results when you were starting out?
I was lucky enough to win $1,000 in like first 3 weeks. So I
Oh,
had
okay.
a great
That's pretty good.
motivation to do it again. It was my hobby. I called it hobby, not work, because I did all this
Yeah.
all free time. This was very interesting. Very interesting.
But what would you say to competitors who are struggling? For example, I see often on Twitter or sometimes in the Discord chats of competitions, the similar people who are, it looks like they're trying their best, but they just can't seem to get some results going. What would you say to them from a kind of psychology point of view?
Give their best to continue. Because I understand because I had results so quick. I had a great background in programming, so it's
Mm,
understandable when person don't have results so quick just because he has little background. It's obvious to me. It's not about one is smarter than another. Basically, a lot of great people eventually have great background before starting. I don't think
true.
at all about it because background varies a lot, and there are people with excellent backgrounds like Milotrak, for example. He
Yeah.
appeared from nowhere, but he has excellent background. Trust me.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So we have a question here from one of our members who's asking, do you ever feel burnout from doing contests? Have you started a contest and then quit halfway through because it's not a good fit, or do you always power through? So this is kind of two questions there.
Last times, I always have burnout after completing contest because I dedicate myself fully into it. So yes, I need to move on from auditing for like 3 weeks after contest. Yes, I feel burnout. It was after BIMA in January this year, and was after Superform and Alchemix this May.
And those were longer contests? I mean, a couple of weeks?
Yes, I dedicated 3 weeks on BIMA and 3 weeks in mine.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So another question we have is, have you ever audited in a team? What do you think about that?
Yes, I was auditing in the team. No, I mean, of course, I have experience in private audits, but I don't count it.
Mm-hmm.
In the very, very beginning, when I was in my community, I teamed up with Dingo. We did 2 contests together, and it was great motivation to continue because I felt that if I started uh, it alone, I would leave project after 2 days. But because Dingo dedicated hours, he worked, so I continued to work, and we tackled the code base, and we gained a lot of knowledge from it. So I believe teaming up is very beneficial in the beginning, especially in the beginning, just because you learn from each other.
Yeah, 100%. I think also it's sometimes it's hard to just be working alone for a long time,
Yes, yes, yes.
you know. Uh, I mean, for me personally, I like a little bit of teamwork or social or being able to talk to someone about what I'm looking at or what I'm seeing or questions, and um, so it's one of the tricky parts of this profession is that in a way, it's very individual, and you do a lot of it alone because you need to focus, you need to go deep, you need to, like you said, build, download the code base into your brain, and you can't really do that with 10 people. But on the other side, we're all human beings and we kind of need some stimulation from another idea, so it's a tricky part. So for you, Timo, when you're, kind of again touching the psychology of contests, talking more broadly about that avenue within Web3 security, because there's other things you could do as well. Is your approach that, you just love contests, you want to keep doing more contests, or do you approach the contest space as a springboard to then, get private clients or join a collective or, etc., join a company? Like, how do you view the contest space, or do you just love contests and you just want to keep grinding contests and get good results there? Like, how do you approach it, and how do you suggest other people approach it?
Yes, I have opinion on this topic because I observe how this contest top fear evolves over time. In the beginning, earning in contests were very, very great. You see a lot of now top people earning great bugs like Milatrak, Trust, Listwood, I don't know, Xivini. There are a lot of them. And with time, price spot lowers, competition becomes higher, and really it becomes more difficult to earn same money. And even 1 year ago, I had an opinion that contests doing contests will earn more money than private work if you pick special contests.
Oh, really?
But now I would focus on winning some contests and moving to team engagements, let's say. It's either be traditional firm or some teams like Zenit, Spearbit, Biosecurity, Cifrin, and so on. I see staying in contest game very, very exhausting.
Oh yeah.
Trust me, it's very hard to place consistently top. Those lead senior Watsons would not compete without that payout.
The fixed pay, you mean?
Yes. Fixed pay in itself is good. That's why they compete. But it's exhausting, very exhausting.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it's interesting because I see, of course, there's the 1% who are excellent, and just, they can get the fixed pay, they can come first in the contest consistently, but then there's also like the top 10%. There's some very good auditors who are maybe not in the 1%, but they're also definitely not beginners either, and and I see even people in that top 10% who are not earning so much actually from contests, but so it is getting more and more difficult. I completely agree with you there. I'm curious today, Timo, how does your work break down? Is it like 70% private clients and 30% contests, or are you 100% private these days? I know you're with Spearbit, what's happening there? Tell us more about how your work is breaking down.
This year I did not work a lot. There are maybe 3 months of auditing. That's it.
That's pretty good. It's a nice life.
Yes. I did not work at all at summer. No, it was great.
Yeah, the time off is always nice. So during that time you did contests, or you did private work?
At summer, you mean?
No, I mean the 3 months that you did work.
I was doing only Spearbit.
Okay,
this year, and 3 weeks of contests.
Okay, interesting. So I was just on the point of Spearbit. I was hearing that a lot of people are in Spearbit now, and that there's actually less work for the Spearbit members. Is that the case? I mean, how does it kind of work when it comes to actually, receiving work from Spearbit, assuming that you're already in?
Basically, that's just manager which offers you a project.
Mm-hmm.
I had two projects which are very big, 6 week duration, maybe, and two projects with 2 weeks. And that's all my work. I really don't know about others because in Spearbit we are not like an organization.
Mm.
I am independent. I don't work. I don't talk with anyone. I just got get in the team and and work on project. That's all. I don't talk with anyone.
Okay. But I mean, are you, is it easy to get work once you're in Spearbit? Because that was sort of my question, is that I was hearing that for some members of Spearbit, they were saying, you know, it's hard to get assigned a project or an engagement. Is that the case, or it's actually easy to get work? It's available if you want it, and kind of whenever you want, or what's the situation?
It's hard in the way that I don't feel anything depends on me.
Mm.
Of course, if I have some exotic skills like reviewing, I don't know, Bitcoin connected projects written in Golang, if I don't have exotic skills,
Mm.
I can't participate in stable way. I They just write at any point of time, and you whether accept an offer or reject.
Okay.
That's why I'm moving on to other engagement teams and leaving Cantina Fellowship in 1 month maybe,
Okay.
very soon.
Oh, okay. So you're not going to be part of Cantina any longer.
Yes, but I hope to not leave Spearbit
Okay.
and be associated.
And what brought you to the decision to move on from Cantina?
Because I am not interested anymore in contests
Mm.
and contests only contests.
Yeah.
I want to move into engagement teams, like join 2, 3 of them and work simultaneously.
Oh,
No, not simultaneously, but have stable work at any point of time.
right. Do you feel that Cantina helped you, get more private work, for example, like build your profile and kind of get more out there?
Personally, I think it's failed because
Okay.
I don't know anyone who was picked just because of his Cantina profile.
Interesting.
In my experience, I have only Pinto protocol, which is basically Beanstalk relaunch.
Mm-hmm.
And they wanted, especially me, but not because of Cantina profile, but because I placed high in their contest.
Okay. Okay. That's interesting.
And of course, I did not manage to get into mitigation review after placing high in Cantina contest.
Mm.
I tried, but did not.
Okay. Interesting. So another question we have from our members is between the cash prize or the leaderboard stats, what matters most to you when you're doing a contest?
Can you repeat, please? What do you mean?
So the question is, are you kind of more motivated by the reward in the contest, or are you more motivated by placing high? I mean, of course, these are quite related, but
Yeah. I am motivated by leaderboard. I mean, let's say I win, for example, 30,000, but
mm,
place. But if there is choice to sacrifice 5,000 and place first in this contest, I would sacrifice just because first place is much more relevant and I will benefit from it in future. Just because the people remember top one.
mhm.
And of course, one amount should be big enough. So it's of course it's weird if first place takes home like 2,000. That's weird.
Yeah. Okay, interesting. I also saw that you worked with Pashov, the Pashov audit group. So how was that experience for you?
It was awesome experience. I was one of the first guys who joined him.
Okay, nice.
All the time, I wondered how many clients Pashov actually has. Basically, I was booked every day a month,
Wow, that's amazing.
and those projects were like 2-3 days. He has a lot of clients, and I have only yeah. All that experience was awesome. Awesome. I admire how he built that group.
Yeah, I
I
mean Pashov is
I
world
don't
class.
see any cons in the process. I just have code, I review it, and in the end we merge findings. So basically, it's solo review of 3 people.
Okay. So with Pashov, you're not really talking with other members of the group while you audit. It's on your own.
I'd say we compete against each other,
Right,
but
right.
competition is not toxic like in contests.
You mean you don't like fighting for your findings and
I
arguing with
mean,
people?
we can downgrade or not agree with their findings, but I don't really care, really. Whether
Mm,
he has this law, which is, in my opinion, a design decision or not,
mm-hmm.
I don't really care. And in Pashov, I like the speed. Speed is
Mm,
1000 and slog per week.
okay.
So personally, I have personally schedule is not tight to me. So
You
I
have
can
time.
work like 4 hours a day, 3 hours a day. Just That's very comfortable to me. That's, for example, comparing Spearbit, because here we're expected to do near 2000 in slog per week. So that
Okay.
means I should work every day
Yeah, you're
to
kind of a bit
continue.
more. Interesting. And Timo, do you think Timo like contests are basically a necessary evil in the sense that, if you want to make it in Web3 security, you absolutely have to go through contests at some point. You have to show some results to progress to the next phase. It's kind of like a video game in a way, like you have to go through the first level to then get to the second, third, fourth level, whether that's private work or, solo auditing, etc. Or
Yes.
are there other ways to make it in Web3 security that don't involve contests? Like, let's say for people who absolutely hate contests. I mean, of course, there's bounties, but what are your thoughts on that?
Mm, I think it's necessary evil. I am the one who went through this, and all top people went through this. I like meritocracy of contests,
Yeah.
just because anyone from anywhere, they don't even know on which continent I am, not even talking about my name. And
Yeah.
I can yearn, I can show my skill, I can show my dedication, and in the end, person will benefit from it. Yes, it's hard, of course. I'm from Belarus. So yes, I think because of meritocracy, it's huge career boost. Of course, but without contests, I would say person must have networking. They must have connections with people actually working there. In this way, they can join. Like most of people work in traditional auditing firms. They are not known at all in this contest bubble, but they work and have great skill.
No, no doubt. I mean, that's what's interesting about Web3 security. Anyone can do it. You can be sitting on the moon with Starlink and auditing from there, or I don't know, just out at sea or something. As long as you have internet and a computer, you're good to go. And the skills, of course, which you have to develop. I wonder, Timo, for you, like for example, for in my case, one of the things that attracts me to the space is that you have a lot of flexibility in how you build yourself in the space. You know, there isn't one conventional path that you have to take, except maybe, as you said, you have to start with contests. You have to spend enough time in the contest world to build the skills. And once the skills are at a certain level, then you can go in a direction that you want, you know, and we see people going in many different areas, and they're succeeding kind of in their own way. Like, I love that you took some months off this year, because why not? You know, you were able to probably, and like give you a lot of freedom and value. The question I have is, given that you have this flexibility in this field, what's your dream scenario? You know, is it to work a couple of months, you know, make enough money that you're happy for the year, and then kind of like focus on your social life, on your health, on other hobbies you have? Like, how does Web3 security fit in with your broader life?
That's a very interesting question because, as you said, everything depends on ourselves. On yourself. You build your schedule, you build your roadmap, your manager. Maybe last 2 years, I would say ideal workload would be is to have sprints like 1 month, 2 months when you give your best, when you dive into that very huge difficult project and win great bugs. Then rest some months, let's say 4 months, and do it again. And actually, this is a schedule of Dontonka or Hexatron
Didn't know
in
that.
2024. Basically, they had 3 or 4 Cosmos SDK projects. They placed very high, earned a lot of money, and were resting or learning new stuff in the meantime. But right now, I have different opinion. Right now, I have opinion that that my ideal workload is similar to traditional work. You know, when you have like maybe 20, maybe 25 hours a week. You don't live by sprints, but you live simultaneously your social life, actual life, and work. Just consistently earning money.
So what changed your approach, let's say, from a sprint-based schedule to a more standard schedule?
That's much more lower focus on the work. With sprints, you completely dive into work for like 2 months, and I don't see it is consistent. I feel working 20 or 25 hours a week is much more consistent in the future and will yield more more benefits in the long run because you don't sacrifice your other life.
Yeah, totally. Do you feel like there's one approach that helps you improve faster? You know, is it the consistent kind of chopping away every week, or is it the sprints that you feel, okay, I really grew a lot in that, let's say, 5 weeks of auditing versus, you know?
There's definitely sprints which yield you a lot of knowledge, a lot of all, which no, a lot of how to say it. Let me take 10 seconds to think.
Yeah. Like a lot of growth. You have more growth in the sprints, maybe, or faster
Yes.
growth.
Yes, I would say sprint. That's the only answer, but that's answer in short term. In the long run, you will anyway come back to usual work. But gained knowledge during sprint will not disappear. That's why in the beginning it's the most beneficial.
Okay, great stuff. Great stuff. We have another question here from Securious, actually, who I believe you know. The question is, when you find a potential vulnerability, or when you find a trace of a potential vulnerability, do you follow through with it immediately, or do you verify it later?
Yeah, it's very interesting question because there is no right answer, of course. What I personally do, there are 2 hours in the morning when I start to work. I have a very fresh mind. This fresh mind can generate new ideas, and that's actually what I aim for when looking for bugs. Ideally, I would generate as more ideas as possible. But if I generate this certain idea and immediately follow this, I will lose this morning. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, you kind of get sucked into a rabbit hole, you mean?
Yes. And ideally, you should mix all approaches.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. Whenever I ask auditors about their approaches, they're always different. You know, there's no one who has the same approach. I mean, of course, like you said, we are broadly speaking trying to understand the code, understand the system, and then kind of generate ideas, be creative about how to attack it. But a lot of successful auditors seem to have a different approach. You know, that works a bit better for them. So I think that's another question I have for you is, are you very certain about your approach to auditing now? Like that's how you do it, or do you still sometimes think, I might change that part of my process, or I might tweak my method?
After 2 years, it's pretty consistent.
Yeah, I would
Uh,
imagine, especially
I,
results.
I create my Excel file to track scope, to track how much scope I study, learn every day, just to not get lost in this huge scope. Just to increase my motivation that I'm at least doing something. I'm at least today I've learned how this contract works, and not zero.
Yeah.
Of course, I leave audit tags, but mostly I leave note tags just to mark that I reviewed this function. I know how it works, and if function is big enough, I review it, study what it does, and leave comment on what it does, what it returns, just so in future I can read not function, but my description.
Okay. Okay. Interesting.
And of course I use Pomodoros, and always used.
Yeah, tell us. So as we slowly wrap up here, tell us about Pomodoros. You know, are they still going strong? I mean, you're the king of Pomodoros in the space, right? So, what are your thoughts on that? What tips would you give to others in terms of using Pomodoros?
I started to use Pomodoros 5 years ago when started learning programming. I see Pomodoro as a strict way to have rest. For example, I can work 3 hours with deep focus without a break. But after 3 hours, I will feel exhausted. So it's not right to continue working. So in total, I work 3 hours. But if I have Pomodoros, I can rest in between and reach, let's say, 5 hours of focus work a day. And that's one part. Second part, which shines in Web3 security, is that breaks your focus and lets you look from different angle after that 10 minutes break. For example, I'm debugging some test, it reverts. I don't know why. I'm looking, and I can waste another 30 minutes on this, but I have strict break. I forget completely about it. Return to work and spot that mistake in 2 minutes. And that's regarding development. But in security, it can yield me new idea to attack code. That's why it can be even issue. That's why I see Pomodoros very important in my workflow.
So here I have a question from Alex asking, do you 100% follow Pomodoros? What do you do if the break comes while you're in the middle of something? I mean, you sort of explained the second part.
It's a very frequent question I have.
Yeah.
First of all, I have 30 minutes of work and 10 minutes of rest.
Okay.
30 minutes is enough to tackle one certain topic or one certain part of topic. What if I did not concluded my task when Pomodoro comes to an end? Actually, always right decision to have rest. Trust me, I was working with Pomodoro 5 years. Always right decision to have a rest right now, no matter what you are working on, because after the rest you can solve or understand the topic you are working on. And to me personally, if I continue work not taking rest, I will work less in total this day, just because I lose motivation, I get tired, and so on, or I got distracted.
There's nothing worse than working inefficiently. It's like either you're working or you're not working. I like that
Yes,
approach a lot.
so with security, when what works is your brain. If it gets tired, you lose the day.
Yeah, 100%. Well, Timo, I mean, thank you so much for taking some time to talk with us today. I think these insights were really, really interesting, talking about how to look at, selecting the competition that you're in, how to understand code, how to take breaks, how to kind of different ways of working also. You talked about how to either work in sprints or work in a more consistent way. I think it was really, really valuable discussion. So, if you have any, do you have any questions for us or for our group, or any last comments you want to share?
I want to thank you for hosting me. It is interesting discussion. Actually, I thought it will be more boring than it actually is.
Why did you think that?
I don't know. I felt comfortable. It was interesting.
That's good.
Thank you very much for hosting me and taking Securious into your community.
For sure, for sure. I mean, listen, we are always open to members who are really motivated and pushing and working to, to make the jump from being a junior to being, good at contests and kind of able to find work in this space. So, and it's through conversations like this as well with you that people get to learn more and kind of adjust how they're working. So, congratulations on all your success so far in the space. I'm excited to see you have even more in the future. And we'd love to chat again in some time and update, get some updates on where you're at. So everyone, that was OX Timo today talking to us about contests and psychology and how to work. And if you enjoyed this talk, please follow us on Twitter, or you can follow me on Twitter, some of our members as well, who will be sharing this podcast on social media. Mm-hmm. And a motivated junior auditor looking to join a community, you can get into contact with me. We're here at the Web3 Security Clan, where we are all learning and discussing and pushing forward together. So thanks a lot, Timo. All the best to you, and hope to talk again soon.